Alright YouTubers, what is happening? We got a cool item here. Came in the mail today. Kind of a cool case here. And these are titanium Benchmade Bugout scales. These are from distracted here. Rockscaledesign, I believe that's what the name is. On Instagram. And he recently started making bug out scales in titanium, and these ones are a little bit different than the first ones he started making. Yeah, Rockscaledesign. Matte in. I'll put a link in the description. So he's got a few different patterns. These ones are blasted and then with an aluminum oxide finish, and then they don't have a lanyard hole. So you can see here on the bug out, you have the lanyard attachment, which I never use, especially on a knife like this. So now we're going to install these scales on this knife. Before I do that, I want to do a comparison really quick of the weight without the scales and with the scales. So it weighs 1.8 ounces with the FRN, and this is the new version of the bug out with the gray DLC coated blade, and it's like the Ranger green, as they call it, handle, and then the clip is also that way. So you can see the scales here, just to give you an idea. They have been skeletonized quite a bit to lighten them up, and we'll weigh the knife once we get these on. And Benchmades are always fun to work with, so we shall see how this goes. Using my Weeha drivers. The trickiest thing with these is can be getting the centering where you want it to be again. Okay, so we got pivot screw. It's our top scale, and what I like to do is put them in like some sort of order that you took them off. So boom boom, and then we got our body screws here. Standard T6. And then our back one here. There's our back screw, the body, and the middle. This one kind of tends to stick. I have to listen to the other side first. We'll get that one out. So we're going to pop the pivot out now. Okey-dokey. So we got our scales off. So we'll go in reverse here. Try to keep that blade in there with those washers so we don't have to mess with that too much. Would be ideal. Okay, that went pretty smooth. We're going to try to push that pivot through. tricky thing is here is this pivot has to go in a certain way, and I think it's up. Okay, there we go. So that's the trick. I gotta remember, I've done this so many times on Benchmades. You gotta kind of do the pivot first in the scale. Then you try to get everything in there. The tricky thing is with that spring, not having to unhook the springs, because that can be a nightmare, is to push through these washers. It's not wanting to cooperate though. Alright, so I got that washer to line up. I think the key for me is to loosen this axis lock a little bit. We almost got this one through. Just gotta move that just a titch. There we go. Alright, hardest part is done. Got the washers in. Now we just gotta put the scales back together. Got these cool brass standoffs. I really like these. On this edition of the Bugout. Really dig these. There we go. Alright. Now we can start putting our screws back in. I don't typically tighten these all the way, because one of the tricks with access locks is being able to adjust the centering, and you can do that with the body screws. So I just like to kind of put those in there, get them somewhat, so they're not going to fall out, but not tighten yet. Alright, let's get our pivot in there. We're still missing a couple of these body screws too. These just kind of seem to want to stick with the scales. You will want to put the pocket clip on before trying to get this thing everything all centered, because it does affect the centering, oddly enough. So this aluminum oxide the blast on this really makes it grippy titanium. Alright, so we're going to put the clip back on. Gosh, kids are making silly noises up there.
Enough with that noise.
Alright. So get that on there. Well, hold on a second. Hopefully I snug down. This is the tricky thing. You gotta get this back screw pretty centered. Not centered, but oh man, come on. How long are these pocket clip screws, for freak's sakes? There we go. I feel like to get those kind of snug on both sides. But that can definitely affect the centering. Oh, you're kidding me. Dead centered first try? What? This is amazing. Sorry. Destiny reference for those guys that play Destiny. And I kind of hate these screws on these pocket clips. That's why I didn't want to take them all the way out, because they're kind of a pain to work with. There we go. Alright. Our centering is really good right now, but is our action good, and does it have play, and those kind of things you have to figure out. Okay, the pocket clip did not. These have like a weird, these like, this strange, this aluminum oxide kind of like collects oils from your hands. It's different. Oh, guys. Great action. No play. I haven't even tightened these screws down yet. So, what you want to do is get it centered and then snug these up and make sure it doesn't mess with your centering at all. Those should be snug. Alright. Screws are snug. Action is good. There is no play. And we have ourselves a titanium Benchmade Bugout. Looking good. Check out this weight difference. So I think it was 1.8 before. 2.6. So it only adds 0.8 ounces to the weight, yet the knife feels a lot nicer. It doesn't feel cheap. Those scales they're lightweight and everything, but they feel kind of cheap, and they have, so you got extra rigidity. You have a little bit, adds a little extra thickness. I should have taken a measurement, darn it, of that. Lightning pockets. Yeah, that looks good. I like that gray DLC with this like darker aluminum oxide blasted finish on this titanium. I gotta get this clean though, that's bugging me. With that gray clip and the gray blade, that actually goes really well. Then you gotta pop a color with the brass. That is pretty freaking sweet. Easy enough install, guys. The only issue I had was lighting up that thing, and I gotta remember that if you loosen that axis lock a little bit, that helps quite a bit. Yep. Might have to Loctite that again, but for now, fantastic. Alright, love the Bugout. I had the carbon fiber scales in mine earlier. Sold that. regretted selling that. Then I saw this guy make titanium, make it even better. And here we go. Make a fantastic EDC knife, guys. Nice and lightweight still. Not as lightweight, but still very lightweight, under 3 ounces. Gives you a nice, much more premium feel to it. And these cost $95 for these scales. And I'll leave a link in the description where you can buy them from his store. And he has different patterns available. This is kind of like a smooth titanium. There's like a scale, like a rock, what does he call it? Can't remember what he calls it. Different finish. He's got a bunch of different finishes on there, so very cool. Check it out, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.